Big takeaways. Brock Purdy sucks. This man was underthrowing swing passes in the NFL. Do what you did when you had Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback. Run the ball 45 fucking times and do not let Brock Purdy be the reason why you guys don't win the game. As far as the big time passing plays, the Lions give those up. Like, that's just Lions football. Like, how do we build that type of pressure-filled situation in practice? I think the only way to do it is to bring, like, maybe have the kicker bring his dog, and then you just have a gun pointed at the dog.
I was gonna say bring a family member, bring a loved one, and just have them like hanging above a pit of sharks or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in the NFL. Maybe make a 3D replica of their family.
No, that's not enough pressure. You need their real loved ones.
Oh, okay.
Hanging above some sharks. If you miss a field goal,
dip them in. For such a hype intro, it is a sad time in the NFL when there's only 3 NFL games remaining. Boo is correct. Boo's coming from the crowd today. Can I pump a little crowd noise? Yeah,
boo.
Yeah. That's my favorite
Football's
thing.
Ending, boo.
That's my favorite thing that they do whenever the Lions are playing is that, you got the commentators, but they're not able to speak over how loud the arena is. And then as soon as they finish talking, you can hear them open up the mic to the arena and you're like, God damn. Right? So that's kind of like the situation that we had right there. I was giving my intro. We had the boos coming in. I can hear the boos. We pumped crowd noise. Cameron.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I am a little sad football's ending, but we had a good weekend. Good weekend. The Lions. I mean, we'll get there, but it was a good weekend for us, I feel.
Yes.
It was good.
Profitable weekend.
Good, profitable.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is back-to-back weeks. If I was to say we're definitely the majority not profitable in the NFL season. There's been majority of the weekends that we come in here and we're like, this sucks. But no, we're getting the purest form of NFL football, and that's what I love the most about playoff anything. Let me fucking bet on playoff curling. Let me bet on playoff badminton. Let me bet on every golf tournament, I guess, is a tournament. Let me bet on playoff bull riding. I know that playoffs bring out the best in people, and that is why we have been so successful. And so we're going to cover all the games that happened this weekend, tell you where we feel we got over on the sports books. There was definitely a lot of prop bets that we're going to talk about today that going into the week, I started to see it, and I can definitely tell that my betting acumen is starting to reach the level of people that I look up to. And those are sharp fucking bettors that don't lose. So we're going to cover some of those, and then we're going to go into the matchups for both of the championship games. Let's do this shit. So, starting off with game 1. Texans versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens defeating the Texans 31-10. This game, a lot closer than people would have imagined. And I believe that a lot of it had to came due to the rust. The rust versus momentum debate that we always get right around this time. And it's a real thing. We experienced it from both of the teams that got a number 1 seed, where they get that bye week after playing 18 weeks of tough football. And even sometimes the number 1 seeds, they rest their starters. So these guys are really on 3 weeks of not going through very, very physical practice or game-like scenarios in which it definitely showed. And we'll start off with the rust that I saw with the Ravens. The rust that I saw is definitely been the downside of the Ravens all year. Lamar Jackson on third downs, and instead of being mobile and using his legs to get some of these third down completions, early on in the game, he was just missing receivers, and the Houston Texans defense was really playing some of the best defense that I've seen any team play this year. And they did a phenomenal job of containing Lamar Jackson in that first half. Your final score, or your halftime score there, was 10-10. And it was a game in which you saw CJ Stroud miss some big opportunities, as far as in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter, there was some drives and there was some possessions in which he needed to get those third down completions, and he failed to do so. And CJ Stroud, not being necessarily known for being a mobile quarterback, that was one of the prop bets that I had put in on Wager Wars, was for CJ Stroud to get over 8.5 rushing yards. The very first time that he played the Ravens, he had 20 plus rushing yards. And that was his very first game as a rookie ever. So I was hoping that he would channel some of that inner athlete in him, inner mobile quarterback, that would allow not only this prop to hit, but allow the Texans to be in winning positions. And although the prop did hit by half a yard,
A half, yeah.
a literal half a yard, he ends up with 9 rushing yards, and we had it in on Wager Wars at 8.5. Very close. Very close. But let's dive into some of the stat lines here, because Lamar Jackson, a person who is 1-3 coming into this game in his playoff opportunities, gets a victory and now moves his record to 2-3 as he goes on to take Patrick Mahomes in the next round. This game, though, really highlighted that Lamar Jackson's, strongest attribute is his ability to run. And although he's been trying to dial in his passing, we know Lamar, and we will always know Lamar, for being a quarterback that is literally untouchable. And in a division in which there's a couple of quarterbacks that can run the rock pretty well, when you're putting his numbers next to Josh Allen's, and you're like, damn, he's just that much better. And Josh Allen had 17 rushing touchdowns this year. Lamar kind of pulled off the gas as for as many rushing touchdowns as he had throughout the year. I'll find that number for you here in a second. But Lamar finishes with 11 carries for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the city of Baltimore goes bananas for this man. After his second touchdown, which kind of put the game out of reach, he ran into the tunnel. He did like the touchdown celebration where he scores, just ignores everybody and runs into the tunnel. And it's an all-time iconic move. I can imagine the photos of him coming back down that hallway after, kind of solidifying the game. It was a surreal moment for the state of Maryland and the city of Baltimore. Let me get this play-by-play here, and then the scoring summary. Yeah, so that Lamar Jackson touchdown made it 31-10. And the game actually finished 34-10. I forgot about the Justin Tucker field goal very late in the game that kind of fully put it away. CJ Stroud should not feel too bad about this loss, because they were making a rookie quarterback have to do a lot of things a rookie quarterback shouldn't have to do. And we'll go through that type of situation and scenario for the rest of the games that you'll see here. And all the teams from all the other games had a stable running core throughout the year, and it was somebody that they can rely on. Devin Singletary finishes the game with 9 carries, 22 yards. The Baltimore Ravens were all over the run, and that, as far as like me looking into my future bet, Lions to defeat the Ravens, that kind of like worries me, because it's like the Ravens played lights out run defense. Roquan Smith fills gaps and fills the hole better than just about any linebacker that I've ever seen play the game of football. He's just so sure about his reads. And when you can't get a running game going and you're making CJ Stroud have to throw the ball 33 times, which it's not out of his, realm to throw the ball that many times, but you're making him make a lot of big pressure type plays on 3rd and long as opposed to 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 5, where it's a little bit more manageable. CJ Stroud doesn't finish with an interception. There were no interceptions in this game, so it was relatively clean. However, the Ravens really highlighted in the second half that we are as good as our record proves, and this is what we're truly capable of. That rust that offense was experiencing in the first half, I don't think it will be there as long as it was this past game, where it literally took them a half to get the offense moving. If you have that slow of a start, though, against the Chiefs and they jump out early to you, the Chiefs are no Texans when it comes to running the football, and they can control the clock, and that we'll go over that more in detail as far as the AFC Championship goes after I cover the next game. The next game that we had was It's where I'm going to highlight that props were put in that made me question why I work. Okay, so let's go to that game. The score being 49ers 24, Packers 21. I'm wearing Green Bay colors today, low key, like an alternate Green Bay green.
Yeah,
a little.
I feel they're a little brighter, but
yeah, they are brighter. They are brighter. But I'm saying if they rocked an alternate uni, a little more lumberjack look, wow, did the Packers have the opportunity of a lifetime to fucking shut 49er fans up forever. Okay. Big takeaways. Brock Purdy sucks. I am a firm believer in that this man, in a situation where it was raining steady all game, right? He's like making the debate. Do I go glove? Do I go no glove? He starts warm-ups with a glove, takes the glove off before the start of the first half. The passes that Brock Purdy was throwing that were misses weren't just like any typical miss. Like, this man was underthrowing swing passes in the NFL. Cameron, I know I am a fucking podcaster and I've never taken a snap at quarterback in my life at a high level. A swing pass is the easiest pass in the league. A swing pass, you catch it, you throw it sideways quickly before anybody even gets a chance to get to you. And because there was just a little drizzle and the ball was wet, this man was underthrowing Christian McCaffrey a couple of times, and then fucking numerous times late in the game, you can see Brock Purdy in a big-time situation either overlead a receiver or underthrow a receiver. And it's just, he does not have the big playability that every 49ers fan thinks he has, and I cannot wait for the Lions to shut them down this upcoming Sunday, because I think that they have the ability to expose Brock Purdy, because if the Lions are good at anything, they're good at stopping the fucking run. So Christian McCaffrey, you're going to be struggling. We're going to go deeper into that later on. Brock Purdy sucks. That was my biggest takeaway from this game period. Although, okay, on the final drive, sure, he made a couple of throws that helped extend the drive. But if we're going to look and see what makes the 49ers, it's two people. It's Trent Williams and it's Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey finishes with 17 carries, 98 yards, and 2 touchdowns, none being bigger than the touchdown that he scored at the end of the game to give them the lead. But I said there were some props here. And before we go into the full game analysis and talking especially about how the Packers put themselves in the position to almost shock the world, the prop that I saw this weekend that I found very interesting, and Cameron, if you want to pull it up, was the Green Bay to score first. This was something that I felt was going to happen because of what happened in the Dallas game. You could see the fucking Cowboys helmet right behind my shoulder here. In that Cowboys game, the Packers took the ball first. They take the ball first. They go down and they score a touchdown. I did feel like the 49ers would hold them to a field goal, which they did. So I'm glad I didn't take Green Bay to score the first touchdown. I just figured for them to score first is most likely going to happen because either they're going to get the ball and receive or win the toss and receive, or the 49ers are going to defer. And this is something, ladies and gentlemen, it's probably the most simplest thing to follow. Just look and see the coin toss history from teams, especially in these championship games. I'm going to be doing a little deep dive research. See what the team likes to do if they win the toss. See what the other team likes to do if they lose the toss and they get the chance to defer. This gives you a better opportunity to hit lines like this. I got them at plus 126 to score first when in both situations they were either going to get the ball by winning the toss or the 49ers would have gave them the ball. If you're getting the ball first, like you got to have a little bit of faith in that slight advantage. You know, it's not like we're telling you this is going to hit, but we're saying everything lining up to this game says that they have the better ability to score first. And not only that, okay, I went as far as a show that I produce called Wisecracks, which if you are a sports betting fan or just a gambler and you love gambling stories, Wisecracks, every Thursday it comes out. We record it on Wednesdays, Bill Krakenberger, John Orlando. Bill Krakenberger is one of the sharpest bettors I know. And I sent him that text and I was like, I explained it to him exactly how I explained it to you. And this is how I know I'm on the right path. Cameron, if you want to share this. As soon as I sent Bill Krakenberger that text, Bill Krakenberger sends me back this image, and he says, I've been all over Green Bay first quarter this week, and he sends me a $3,000 ticket at plus 115, not for them to score first, for them to get the first down, them being the Packers. And when that happens, it happened on the very first drive within, I shit you not, 25 seconds into the game. The Packers get their first down.
That's crazy.
And he makes $3,450.
So way to double your money?
Double your money, get
quick
in and out.
easy. I like
quick
that.
and dirty, fucking Green Bay first down. A line that I could not find, Cameron couldn't find. Hear this out. Robert, who I do Wager Wars with out there in Canada, he's got access to all those books. This is how good Bill Krakenberger is. They see that he puts this bet in, and then they remove the prop because they know. They know.
No way.
Yeah.
Did that really happen?
Fuck yeah. Because
What was that on?
Because, hey, I love Bill. He sends me this one. Something tells me Bill maybe had 3 or 4 more other ones that are right around this amount, and they all talk to each other. So as soon as those sharp people hit certain lines like that, they disappear. When Rob couldn't find it, I was like, yeah, this shit's gone. Yeah. They know. They know that it's going to hit. So going in, I was like, yes, this is awesome. This is exactly what I had anticipated. Although on Wager Wars, I did predict one thing. And my bet was for Brock Purdy to throw over a half an interception. So throw an interception. On the very first drive, Darnell Savage dropped a fucking gimme pick. Literally hits him just like, imagine the microphone's the ball. This was the freeze frame you could have got from it. And he dropped it. And he fucking dropped it. And I made a little Instagram story saying, that hurt mi corazón. That hurt mi corazón. Because I needed that, dude. I fucking needed that. I hit that one in real life too. Not all Wager War bets do I put in IRL. Because it kind of like upsets me. We play by the hundreds, right? So like my unit size is not 100. So when it hits and then I don't have the 100, I'm like, this sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Packers played amazing. They played that 49ers defense like a fiddle. There was multiple times in which the offense not only was able to expose the 49ers rush defense, which Aaron Jones finishes 18 carries, 108 yards. Aaron Jones in his last 6 games, over 100 rushing yards. He was a monster on the back half of the season. Just going to show that, if you have a really good running back, play him as backup until about week 11. Week 15. Fuck it. Let's just get them going on the back half to dominate. You know what I mean? If it's look at the NBA players. LeBron is not going to play 65 games this year. Okay? There's going to be a lot of players that are sitting out in order to be their best in the postseason. In the NFL, you don't see it too much.
Well, I feel it's just such a shorter time frame because you only have 17 games to. I mean, if you sit your quarterback till week 15, what if your backup quarterback just sucks? And then you know.
What about? Oh my God, Red Bull just went in my eye. Wow, that's crazy. Think about this situation: Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow plays the first 6 weeks of the season hurt, and they didn't end up making the playoffs, but Jake Browning was really good, and for a while there were like, oh my God, is Jake Browning going to... Imagine if Jake Browning starts the season, Joe Burrow gets picked up, week 8, and then it's like, all right, now we got our stud back to full health. That's 2 extra months of rest as opposed to pushing it forward.
That only works if you have a reliable backup, though. Some sort of a reliable backup.
100%. Yeah. Very few teams do. The Saints did. Saints should have played the reliable backup as the starter all year, and we should have shipped their car out the fucking country. Jordan Love so there's a couple of big things aside from the running game and breaking down the stats and that Green Bay had a chance, and the biggest thing for me was Jordan Love had the opportunity with 1:10 left to go down and get a field goal for his team. And Jordan Love made the biggest mistake you can make as an NFL quarterback, and it's throwing the ball across your body into the middle of the field when you had the opportunity to throw it away. There was nothing there, and I know that play's just going to keep rewinding in his head over and over and over again, like it should, because the Green Bay Packers had 3 timeouts in that situation, and they more than had the chance to get themselves in a field goal range. But the fact that they were down by 3 here is really what we need to fucking be talking about, because Anders or make kick so we could remember your name misses a field goal. And that missed field goal, was the difference between the 49ers' last touchdown tying up the game or, the Packers having to go down and kick a field goal to tie it. Great season by the Packers. It's definitely a team that the Lions got to worry about now, because the Packers really didn't figure it out early on, and I just figured because it was Aaron Jones being out had a lot to do with it. The Packers did defeat the Lions once this year. So I say they should be worried because, I figure both of these teams are on the up and up. I would not be surprised if the Packers and the Lions made it to the playoffs again next year. And in order to make a deep run, the Lions are saying you need home field advantage. And they are going to have to go on the road now to take on the 49ers next week. Moving on to the next game. Oh, hold on. Before I move on to the next game, did I have the Packers tweet? No. Never mind. It was a dog pissing himself. And it was like Brock Purdy when Deebo Samuels gets hurt. Like the dog was just standing in its own piss as it kept peeing. Yeah. Brock Purdy and the 49ers. I guess the last thing. Do what you did when you had Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback. Run the ball 45 fucking times and do not let Brock Purdy be the reason why you guys don't win the game. I was sitting next to Ryan Crowley from IDK Pizza, who sponsored last night's UFC 297 watch party, and he literally just cannot stop saying, run the ball. Just run the fucking ball. Just run the fucking ball. What are we doing? Run the fucking ball. It was nonstop, and I don't blame the dude. They need to run the ball a lot more, even if it gets shut down occasionally. You guys have the best running back in the league. That being said, we got to move on to the Sunday games. And the first one means a whole lot because I got the Ravens taken care of, and now I needed the Lions. Lions defeat the Buccaneers 31-23. In a game that really, I'm a little worried. I've been saying the Lions' run defense is good. I've been saying that, like, you know, they've made an emphasis to be tough in the run game, and they gave up too many big run plays today. They gave up a lot of rushing first downs. Rachaad White finishes with 9 carries, 55 yards, his longest rush being 16 yards. He would get rushes in the most back-breaking of fashions, where it really, you know, let me see if I can get rushing first downs. Yeah, the Buccaneers had 4 rushing first downs today, and that is typically not Lions fashion to allow, you know, them to play more physical than they were. And it makes me super worried because the Lions got to take on the 49ers next week, and I'm literally saying they need to run the ball 45 times. The offense of the Lions, though, is the difference maker. Because it doesn't matter what scheme is thrown at them. They are such a pro-style offense, a West Coast offense, where it is run the ball as effectively as we can, and we make a lot of our big plays off of play action. Jahmyr Gibbs, welcome to the fucking NFL, because you have just made yourself a household name. Gibbs, easy to remember. Jahmyr, the way you spell it, Jahmyr, iconic. We got a lot of good names on the Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs,
Alex Anzalone,
Jared Goff. David Montgomery. Montgomery is just a dope name. All those things being said, Jared Goff finishes 30 for 43, 2 touchdowns, 287 yards, no interceptions. Whenever the Lions needed to move the ball through the air, they could. Whenever they needed to move the ball in the ground, they could. The Buccaneers, who have a pretty solid defense, were reeling throughout a majority of the game. This game at halftime was 10-10, and it definitely made a lot of us feel, oh, I don't know, man. This is something like we got to break away. And then from a 10-10 ball game, there was just this offensive explosion. The Lions in the second half on their first 3 drives scored touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. And it was a 10-play drive, a 5-play drive, and a 10-play drive. Controlling the clock, it was masterful to see. But that just shows a team that was committed to the run. But goddamn, when that defense cannot stop Rachaad White in big-time situations, it makes you worry because you know that was Rachaad White. What's going to happen if it's Christian McCaffrey? And when it's Christian McCaffrey? The Lions definitely will have to bow up, create a lot of schemes this week to kind of funnel in Christian McCaffrey as best as possible. It's all done up front. That defensive line's got a tall task going up against that 49ers offense. Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. What an amazing run. At the beginning of the season, I predict Baker Mayfield to be the most impactful player in the NFC South. He goes on to do that and some. He is going to be the rest of his career, he will play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to be very competitive in that NFC South, which is honestly theirs for the taking for the next 2 to 3 years. There's no teams in that division that should give them headaches or keep them up at night. Baker Mayfield goes 26 for 41, 349 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Okay, the 349 passing yards. This is something that I'm surprised that betting sites have not been a little more keen to. Every time the Lions are playing, I always look and see how many, like, what's the alternative odds for that quarterback's passing yards? Matt Stafford was a prime example of a quarterback that I was like, oh, in his return, he's probably going to go off on the main stage. He did already have a high passer yard for his over-under, which was like 272 and a half or something. But Baker Mayfield's today was 240 something. And for Baker Mayfield to throw over 325 yards was like 6-1, Cameron. Yeah, in a situation where you figure he's probably going to be behind a lot and he's going to have to make some big-time plays to come back. The combination, him and Mike Evans, God, it would just be a nightmare to have to guard this man. He is, dare I say, Calvin Johnson 2.0, as far as when it's a go route, he is taller than you. He will outjump you. He is stronger than you. He wins all those matchups consistently. He finishes 8 receptions, 147 yards, and 1 touchdown. Crazy game.
Wow.
And that is the Lions' downfall, right? So if you're looking at just a stat line, right, you would think that the Lions did a pretty good job of stopping the run. I will tell you, they did not. There was way too many plays where the running back was able to break past the second level. As far as the big-time passing plays, the Lions give those up. Like, that's just Lions football. They've been very piss poor in the pass defense department this year. So we got the winner in that one. The Lions move on. George survives another week in an exacta bet that, oh my God. If that happens, I will go down in the history books as one of the smartest men alive. The next game, Chiefs versus the Bills. This game, this is a $1 million type game. Like if the NFL had the ability, right, to just package up the back and forth nature of this game, the rivalry that's been brewing for the last 4 years, it was cool as fuck to see 4 to 5 years ago that this was going to be the next iconic rivalry in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. You can see it coming like 5 years ago. Once Patrick Mahomes made it to the AFC Championship for the first time, you can see it start to brew. You saw Josh Allen start to do his thing, and you're like, this is just like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. And, you know, the graphics that will be made for the next 5 to 8 years, as long as these two quarterbacks are quarterbacking their team and they keep getting the chance to go up against each other, it's just going to continue to add to this rivalry. So going into it, Josh Allen's beaten Patrick Mahomes 3 times in the regular season. And in the postseason, Patrick Mahomes has won 3 times. So they were 3-3 going into their 4th matchup. And Patrick Mahomes was
I think it might have been 0-2 in the postseason.
0-2 in the postseason.
I don't know. Fact check it.
Possibly. So Patrick Mahomes, in this spot, coming in as an underdog, was a bettor's dream because betting is a very tough thing to do. And when you get the greatest quarterback of all time, and yes, I said it. He makes plays and he can lead a team better than any individual player I've ever seen. The confidence that his teammates have in him is so Brady-like, it's bananas. He's an underdog going into Buffalo. Give it to me every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I loved this line. For a while there, I was hesitant. I was hesitant on whether or not the Buffalo Bills would be able to cover a 2-point spread. Is it something that I can bank on them having the ball last? And everything that I could have predicted would have went into the toilet because there was no accurate way to predict who was going to get the ball last, and you knew that that's what mattered. Like, it does not matter what happens quarters 1 through 3. You know this game was going to come down to the very last possession. So I stayed away from taking a side on Wager Wars. On Wager Wars, I gave you over 53.5 on this game, and it hits 51. And we have to just have a moment of silence for the Buffalo Bills kicker, who will probably receive more death threats than any one human being should. Don't do that. Like, if you're a crazy Bills fan, reel it in, you know? I love that on the call, who's next to Tony Romo? I always forget. Jesus Christ. I'm forgetting his name right now. But the announcer had it ready. He's like, wide right. And that is the Buffalo Bills fans' worst nightmare, is the ball to go wide right.
Does that happen often or something? Is that something that
Wide
usually
right?
gets them? Yeah. Like in big moments, they'll miss a field goal.
In the Super Bowl multiple years in a row,
Oh.
they missed wide right.
That
Tyler
is-
Bass. Tyler Bass from Georgia Southern, 5'10", 183 pounds, 26 years old. I'm 1 year younger than Tyler Bass. If I had missed that kick at such a meaningful time,
that's got to be. I mean, just imagine going home and trying to get a good night's rest after that.
you can't.
You can't. I don't know what I would want to do. I'd probably just want to curl up and cry. That's a big moment.
I would, yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah. Put
There's
me
nothing you
into a
can do. Get some
medically
ice cream.
induced coma. That
to
honestly be my.
Disneyland.
That'd be no,
Just-
no. Put me in a medically induced coma and wake me up. Wake me up when September ends. Literally.
when September starts for
When
the season.
when August ends. Yeah. That's just got to blow, man. We saw in this game, though, Josh Allen does everything that a quarterback can possibly do to win a football game. I mean, everything. And in the biggest moments, he gets screwed over by the kicker. It's got to just, like, as a teammate, too. As a teammate, you go out there, you're busting your ass every day. You're fucking getting into multiple car crash type collisions. And you're just like,
and you can't kick a field goal. You can't do that for me.
I honestly, there's a piece of me that just feels that kickers need to, like, how do we build that type of pressure-filled situation in practice? I think the only way to do it is to bring, like, maybe have the kicker bring his dog, and then you just have a gun pointed at the dog.
I was gonna say bring a family member, bring a loved one, and just have them like hanging above a pit of sharks or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in the NFL. Maybe make a 3D replica of their family.
No, that's not enough pressure. You need their real loved ones
Oh, okay.
hanging above some sharks. If you miss a field goal,
Dip them in.
drop them in. They're attached to like a rope. You cut it, they're done.
Yeah.
They're done.
Okay. Okay. I like this.
Something like that. That's a lot of pressure.
I like this. Or, we get the United States military involved. Okay, and you know how they do the drone strikes.
Mm-hmm.
The person controlling the drone is like, if you make the kick, I'll kill Al Qaeda. If you miss the kick, I'm going to blow up this elementary school. Imagine living with that guilt.
Oh,
Right? That's worse.
that's just that practice.
That's worse than missing a field goal to go to the AFC Championship. Killing kids?
Maybe we'll have to find out.
I think killing kids takes the cake there. Man, yeah. Like I keep replaying it in my head, very similar to like how he does. Let's go into the stats from this game. I said it was going to come down to the wire. It did. It did not matter what happened early on in the game. There was a big play in the fourth quarter. I was going to say this is the only play other than the missed field goal that mattered. Mecole Hardman fumbling the ball on the 1 yard line to put the game like out of reach. The Chiefs would have gone up by 14 points. And he fumbles it. It goes into the end zone. It's a touchback. And the Bills had all the momentum in the world rolling for him. And Tyler Bass does what a Tyler Bass does. Patrick Mahomes, in not the biggest game of his career, but very important, goes 17 for 23, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco, the man that matters the most for this Chiefs team, 15 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown. The Mans was running hard. There was a play where he ran the ball down to the one. This is what set up Mecole Hardman's fumble into the end zone. So you can imagine how Isaiah Pacheco feels. He like caught a toss, and you can see him like how baseball players on an extra base hit, they'll do like the banana to go hit the base and have a better angle. Isaiah Pacheco caught the toss, ran backwards, and said, "I'm running full speed forward right now. Anybody in my way is about to get taken on a choo-choo train ride of their life." Everyone got out of the way. He literally ran unscathed till the 2 yard line and he got pushed out. I mean, I wouldn't got in front of that man's way. Ain't no way, Jack. Ain't no way. Travis Kelce, his brother Jason Kelce in attendance, going to the tailgate before the game starts with Bills fans. Dangerous. I felt like that's a dangerous spot. Like I don't know. Bills fans to me, very KKK-esque as far as like they just take shit a little too serious. You know, we all love a tailgate, right? But then you like look over at the Bills and you're like, oh, you're setting that folding table on fire? What? Did that man just F-150 that kid into the folding table? Just a little too serious, you know what I mean?
And his first reaction wasn't to just roll in the snow.
No, they're so drunk.
To get the fire out. Yeah.
They're so drunk.
You're right. I wouldn't know what to do either. I probably wouldn't even know.
There's a lot of similarities behind a burning cross in somebody's lawn and a burning folding table outside of a football stadium.
I see it, yeah.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
But I mean,
not bad.
Jason Kelce's so cool.
Nobody's getting harmed. Nobody's getting harmed, right?
Just a little
burning
culty.
Cross, nobody gets harmed. Burning folding table, nobody gets harmed. But you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a little fucked up. Like there's something that's a little off here.
It's so cold here. Why are you guys outside? Why do you guys like this so much?
You know fire pits exist, right? We don't have to set the folding table on fire.
You can live someplace else. You don't have to live in Buffalo. It's where all the snow is.
They love that shit. Josh Allen, in his biggest game of his career, goes 26 for 39, 186 yards, 1 touchdown. Takes no sacks this game. Neither quarterback got sacked. That is a very interesting stat. Goes to show that they're able to manipulate and move around the pocket, and they're just never in a pressure type situation where they crumble like how Jared Goff does. One of the softest quarterbacks in the pocket that I know. I mean, he literally is a fucking feather in the pocket. But we're going back to Josh Allen. Man made of nails. Okay. 12 carries, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Which, for you, Cameron, would you have rather seen Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, or would you rather see the matchup that we're seeing now, Lamar versus Patrick Mahomes?
Personally, probably Josh Allen, because I like Josh Allen, and I was really hoping that he'd pull through. I like the way he plays. He's just so good. He's so good.
He plays tough. Tough brand of football.
He does.
Does
and he
not
gets a lot
slide.
of touchdowns. He runs a lot, uses his feet. It's big.
Dalton,
so I'd say Josh.
Yes. I would like to have seen it too, because, you know, the stat that I'm about to tell you, hold your britches, people. Patrick Mahomes all 6 years Patrick Mahomes all 6 years as a starter makes the AFC Championship game in all 6 years. He's born for this shit, man.
That's impressive.
That is such a reign of dominance that not even if I had to Google this, how many?
So he's been in the league 6 years, and he's made it to the championship every time. Oh my goodness.
No, he's been in the league longer. He
okay.
was a backup for a year. Can you believe that? And an NFL team properly prepared their quarterback for success.
Gave him a little rest. Let him see how everything moves.
All right, you can share my screen. Okay. So he made 13 AFC Championship games, including 8 consecutive. So Patrick Mahomes is 2 away from tying Brady's record. I thought he may have already had him on that, but Brady, goddamn, 8 consecutive AFC title games is crazy. And I think they have it in them not only to make it, but shit, dude. I need the Ravens to win. But it's going to be so hard not to bet on Patrick Mahomes again next week when you know he's going to be an underdog. You fucking know that the line is going to be -2.5, -3. He's going to be a +140 favorite early on. That will go down to like +122. I think I hammer it early, Cameron. I think that line will only get worse. I think that line starts at +140 and it continues to trek down until kickoff, where it probably at kickoff will be +115, +110. I just feel it. I can feel it that he is going to be an underdog in this situation. He's going on the road. He's playing Lamar Jackson. The Ravens defense is pretty stout, although they gave up a lot, and I mean a lot, of Houston Texans big time plays where like you're wondering how on 3rd and 12 Nico Collins is coming screaming across the middle of the field wide open. They hit those. But other than that, like this is going to be a tight matchup. I hate to say it. Because it'll be at like 46.5. I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under in this game.
I was thinking that too.
I'm taking the under early.
I was thinking about
because that line will also just keep going up. Yeah. Give me the under early.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I got to look at that.
So in that matchup that we're identifying now, I hate saying it. Give me Patrick Mahomes as the underdog, and that way I can end up still making money on the back end if the Ravens win. But I can't not do it. I cannot not do it. And the other one, Lions taking on the 49ers. Give me the Lions. Give me the Lions with the points. The Lions are going to be underdogs. I take them with the points just because I need a little bit of comfortability. I do need them money line anyways, but I think as a betting man, it's going to be close. That offense for Lions can make games a lot tighter than they actually should be, because their defense gives up everything in the world. That's a game where I want to take the over too, by the way. Any Lions game, I mean, we identified this shit week 10. We're like, every single Lions game, we take the over. We take the over. Okay, last thing that I wanted to share here was from the not the 49ers, the Lions Tampa Bay game. Okay, I'll leave you with this. I was saying this in the moment and I saw the tweet. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in football. This is from Adam Molis. I don't know what is dumber, the Lions snap it early or the Bucs not using the last time out to try to win the game. So the Lions technically didn't snap it early. They needed to run the snap underneath 40 seconds, which you can see here. It's at 39 seconds. That was going to happen. However, if Tampa Bay calls a timeout, that forces the Lions to kick the field goal. If the Lions kick the field goal and they miss or you block it, you're giving Baker Mayfield time to potentially score points that the touchdown that they needed. Todd Bowles gave up. And I think I don't know if it's going to be brought up in the front office, but this is the definition of not playing till the end. You have the timeout, you use it, and you just never know what the next play can bring. Because let's just say, okay, it doesn't get blocked, but they miss. Bro, you gave yourself an opportunity there that you thought you did not have. And shocker. Yeah. Shocker. That was the biggest shocker of the weekend.
Why would they have to kick a field goal at that point?
Because they were on their side of the field. So what I mean by that is like the Lions had the ball on like the 30-yard line, so they would have kicked the field goal. They weren't going to punt it. Like they were in field goal range. Yeah. So it was all due to that interception that wasn't Alex Anzalone, or else you would have won big time money. That is it from Gridiron Junkeez this week. 3 games left. Make sure that you tune into Wager Wars on Wednesday or Thursday when we drop it to get the best bets of the weekend. Me and Rob have been relatively on fire lately.
What's your overall record? Do you have that?
I need to ask him. I say we're on fire. I feel like I'm... Damn. You got me thinking, Cam. I beat him in the regular season. And last week I went 3-1. This week I go 2-2, so I'm still over 50%. But it's still just good information. Rob brings the facts. I dive into the data a little bit, and I bring the knowledge. Then, after that, go watch Wisecracks, which will also be out relatively on the same day. Michael Sartain will be back in studio soon. He's wanting to talk football. He came in here yesterday, and he was like, George, it's my time of the year. I need to be back. So, like, share, subscribe, follow, and until next time, mofos, I'm out.